Free will. I'm here with Washington Bay, and we're going to have a conversation in the next days to share a lot of his work that he's doing and the work he's doing around the genetic and the ancestral information. So I'm looking forward to sharing that conversation and the jewels that's been coming in and the work that himself and his ancestors are doing with resolving ancestral topics. And we'll go very deep into that in the next conversation. So, Washington, welcome.
Thank you, Washington Bay, and thank you to be here.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so what I just want to give it a little short piece because I'm going to be working in the webinar on this was a lot of the ancestral work your grandmother was doing. I know there's a lot of medicinal work with the herbs from the forest, but I wanted to talk a little bit about how your grandmother would resolve topics related to ancestral information, where there was, for example, a child or where somebody had an issue in the relationship or the marriage or their health.
Yeah, so when someone had a problem, let me start with a relationship.
Yeah,
Or
relationship.
let
Yeah,
me
yeah,
talk
sounds
about
good.
relationship. If someone had a problem with the relationship, or let me just say marriage, not relationship. Let me use marriage. If someone had a problem with marriage, so what my grandmother used to do, she used to call the wife. Then after calling the wife, she will have a very deep conversation with the wife just to understand more about her life first. Then she will also now call the husband. After calling the husband, she'll now have another conversation with the husband. Then after knowing now where the problem is, so now she used now to bring these two together. After now bringing these two together, she will now intervene herself there, and she will now help them talk with the ancestors, okay? Because there is ancestors who never got married. You understand? The ancestors who never got married, and now they want them to be inherited. So I didn't have a wife, or I didn't have a husband, so they want now you to inherit. And to inherit, that's why you find your marriage is not working, because they are asking some questions. We are not married. Why in a marriage? So when my grandmother used to realize this is what happened, or this the problem, she used to help the two, husband and wife, to talk with the ancestors. And after talking, she used to have like how can I call it, not a drink, like herbs, or
Herbs, yeah.
yeah, we used to have like a specific herb now for that, now to join them the two together. Understand? Yeah, to join the two together. After joining the two together, you'll share and you'll share. Then after sharing, so she used to at least give you some hints on what to do, and I don't know,
How to resolve.
and how to resolve, yes.
And a big one was that, Ian, we'll talk further on that in the next conversation in depth on how to recognize, is there somebody influencing you,
Yeah.
And that is the big question, is that how much of you is actually in your life and how much belongs to the ancestors? How much of your thoughts are your thoughts and how many of those thoughts are being related or coming from directly from an ancestor? So we're going to go really deeply into that in the next conversation. And in the webinar tonight, I'm working with free will, and I'm going to work with these topics, to see what is preventing you from making a decision, what is preventing you from having a healthy relationship or enjoying your relationship or enjoying your success or preventing you from success, and just seeing what is really in the system. So I started off with mom and dad wounds, then we went into safety and protection, and now we're in free will. And then I'm going to go further into unity consciousness of unity of the ancestors. So this field, as I was talking with Washington and your tribe, you know, when you're talking about the tribe and your grandmother's work, it's a big field of information, but it's a field that really is something that we need to address, because we don't address, we are being influenced and we think it's our thoughts in our life, but it's not. So in this webinar tonight, I'm going to really work on behind the systems to see what's behind your decisions, see what ancestors are influencing you. There could be an ancestor of betrayal in the system, and then you'll feel betrayed or left out or left behind. So I'm going to work with all these different topics in tonight's webinar, and work also with the knowledge which Washington and his ancestors have been sharing with me in the webinar itself. So I'm looking forward to doing that webinar. And then we will talk in a deeper conversation about it, because it's a field that we want to really, it's a lot of information and it needs some time, but it's really, really important for your health, for your relationship, for your finances, for your purpose. So I'm looking forward to this conversation. I'm really looking forward to tonight's webinar, because we'll do it energetically and we'll clear it. And then we're going to bring you deeper into these topics and really bring you through it in a safe, respectful way, and not rushing the system, but really honoring what our ancestors have to share with us. Because not all the ancestors are against us. They want us to bring alignment into the system. So tonight's will be about free will, and I'm looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to having the conversation with you, Washington, to go deeper. And we can go deeper into the system in the next conversation.
Yeah, true.
Looking forward to that.
Exactly.
Great.
Yeah.
So I'll see you later at the webinar. And it's called Free Will, and it's going to be really, really deeply, and it's bringing in a lot of the ancestral work which Washington's ancestors have been doing. It's in the webinar itself, and we will have that blessing and support as well. So I want to honor your work, Washington, your ancestors' work, and how you've helped me personally, and how you've given me a session, you know, how it's integrated in the system. And it really, really makes a difference. And it's interesting. It's very much like the genetic, it adds another volume or texture to the work I'm doing and makes it richer, deeper. And it's very, very interesting, the results. So I'm looking forward to that. And then really giving the whole blessings of the ancestors, but first acknowledging what's in your own system. So I'll see you later at the webinar, and we'll go through this together. This is something you may have resistance to come into, because there's resistance from certain ancestors that maybe don't want you to connect to this work, because you're going to be free, and they'll lose control because you'll have your own life back. So be aware of the resistance, and I invite you to break through that. So I'll see you later at the webinar. Have a beautiful day. Thank you, Washington.
Thank you.
Thank you to the ancestors.
Thank you.
And I'll see you all later at the webinar. Thank you.